session. There we live again. Hi, I'm Natasha Visser, and welcome to my next session on our Let's Explain A to Z series, everything a parent needs to know to talk to their kids about sex. And today we're tackling O for overreaction. And this is quite close to my heart because I talk a lot to teenagers one on one in my practice. And when they come to me, the story tends to be most of the time more or less the same. They will have different uh, situations, but what the core message the teenagers is explaining to me is that my mum or dad overreacted so much to this small little thing. What would they say if they know what actually happened? Or what will they do if they know what actually happens next? All right. So a typical situation is like a teenager. I don't want to expose any of my clients. So we'll just say a teenager, let's call him John. And John would come to me and he will explain, well, way back when I was in grade six, my parents saw something on a television and they saw me clicking on that Netflix story or something like that. And then they start preaching and they're overreacting and you can't do that and that's not right. And they were like freaking out, their parents. And typically, what will happen if they find something on their phones, if it's another story, they would find something on their phones that are a little bit dodgy and they overreact and they go and talk to the teacher or they go and talk to the friends' parents and stuff. And they like really overreact. Now, I'm not saying this is not a big deal. When children are exposed to sexual images, sexting, or pornography, it is a big deal. But our reaction is crucial if you want your kid to come back when things go wrong down the line. So most of the times when the story goes like this, it will be a small event, smallish event, okay, like a naked photo on a phone or a screenshot of something or a movie like on Netflix, like I said, and the parents will freak out. And they will like go on and preach to their children and say, this is wrong and you shouldn't do this. And if I ever catch you, you will like be grounded for life and stuff. So when they are actually by accident or something happens that is actually real that they need help with, your child will not come to you to talk to you. Because if you just freaked out about a bad joke, about a video, about a photo, about just a sexting with a curse word in it, do you think your child is going to come to you when there's something really more dangerous, really gruesome, really sexual, explicit? Will your child come to you? So our reaction is crucial. Now, I must say the overreaction normally happens the first time, well, like when they tell a bad joke or something. And that sets the stage for your child to know, oh no, this is somewhere, some place that I can't go with my parents. I can't talk with them about this. They will just freak out what they hear, what's going on out there. Now, parents, I need to tell you, what your children are being exposed to and what you think they are being exposed to is not the same thing. You must understand our world out there, especially for our teenagers, are exploding with sexual images. And it's not if they're going to see sexual images, it's when. And if we don't have an open door of communication with our kids, they are going to be unprepared when it comes to what they need to do when they are exposed to these things. Even if you don't have your internet on your child's phone, or he doesn't have any data, or he doesn't have any screen time, you know what, the friend shows them these things. The friends shows them pornography videos and stuff. So if you don't have to talk or talk to them about these things without freaking out, without overreacting, they won't be able to come to you to say, listen, mom, I need help. Listen, dad, this guy showed me this videos. What must I do? Okay. Now, your teenager might not ask you what to do, but if you don't overreact in the first place, at least they will be willing to come to you again and say, well, I can trust my parents to help me. Now, if you overreact, the consequence will be you will embarrass them probably in front of their friends or embarrass them at the school or with teachers and stuff. And they're not willing to risk that type of damage or reputational damage by telling you they've seen something. So our reaction is crucial. All right. So when that you see your child, let's say you find out your daughter has been sexting, okay, sending sexual explicit messages on their phone. This is quite common between teenage girls, all right, or between the boys and girls. They send naked photos of each other. Now, when that happens and you find that out, your reaction needs to be a respond, not a reaction. So we react, we overreact, we scream, we shout, we say, I'm talking to this guy's parents. Now, maybe all those things need to be done. I'm not saying you shouldn't do any of those things. But in the moment, stop, breathe, and think of your reaction. You want your child to come back to you again when things go wrong. You want to help your child to not do it again. Okay. You want to influence your child. Now, your quality of your relationship with your teenager will determine your influence. All right. If you're just going to scream and um, overreact, say he will be grounded for life, maybe he will need to be grounded for some time. But first, think about the relationship. Work on that relationship first. All right. So if you're so overwhelmed with all the emotion, maybe it's time to cry halt, stop first, and maybe go and do something else. And then you say, well, I'll come back to you when I feel better, when I have my composure back, and then I will talk to you. That might be your best place to go in that situation, not to overreact. Give me a call. I'll calm you down. I'll help you how to set up that conversation. Now, surely there will be consequences for that actions, but you want to make sure you win at the relationship, you win your child, all right, that you will still have influence. The relationship will win at the end, all right, because you want them to come down back to you in the future. So, just one more story of a teenager that I dealt with. It was quite some time ago. So, this was actually a serious offense where it actually needed to be reported because that was like molestation from an older guy. And before that happened, this girl was molested by this older guy. 2 years before that, she was quite young. Actually, boys were touching her inappropriately. And she told her mom that. And what the mama did is she went to the principal, and it was a big story. Okay. Now that's fine, but she first reacted to that and went to the school, and the poor girl was so embarrassed. And she said, I will never ever tell my mom again, because if this is what the outcome will be, I won't risk my reputation again. So what happened is her mother didn't focus on protecting her. She was just going out there she was thinking she was protecting, but she overreacted. There's certain things that you can do to protect your child first, and then go and do the responding exercise that's appropriate. Now, when 2 years later, she was molested by an older guy. And she actually never reported that because she was too scared of her mom overreacting. Now, there should be consequences for that, don't you think? There should be consequences, but there was no consequences because she was too afraid, because her mother overreacted, didn't think about the consequences of what she did in that. And that's sad. And surely they need to be, when boys are touching your daughter inappropriate or other way around, we need to respond to that, but think to respond, not to react, because you want your children to come to you to ask questions, to ask for help. All right. So your relationship is important so that you have influence. Now, I want to use here something that Phil Jones. Now, he's quite popular about books he written about selling, exactly what to say. And that's actually, as a salesperson, how to be a good salesperson. But I think this is quite interesting. He's using a relationship in order to sell. And if you want to sell your values to your children, if you want to sell it, okay, let's look at how Phil Jones actually explains this. He says that questions leads to conversations. Conversations leads to relationship. Relationship leads to opportunities, and opportunity leads to the sale. So that's fantastic. You have the sale. So if you compare that to your relationship with your children, how do you build that relationship with your children? You start by asking a good, open, non-judgmental question. If you're not sure about the questions, go to Q in this live A to Z series. You will find in the Q session, I talk about good questions, good open questions. So go there. So start with a question. The question will lead to relationship. So don't overreact and say, I'm going to do this and this and this. You will do that, but first ask your child open question that will lead to conversation, that will reinforce your relationship with your child. Because if you have relationship, you have influence. And then you have an opportunity, if you have a relationship, to actually talk to your children about dangers, about things that might scare them, about things that happen that they made mistakes with, but you have an open opportunity to influence them and have that cell of your idea of saying, okay, let's see if you want to keep pure, or if you want to stay safe out there, you need to sell that idea. But you're not going to close on that sale on your idea if you don't have a relationship with your child. Okay, so I think Phil Jones has it as a fantastic example of selling. But remember, you need to sell your values to your children, especially when it comes to teenagers, and you're not going to close on that deal if you don't have a relationship. And a relationship starts with questions. So I want to encourage you to build that relationship. Don't overreact. Have your child's back, okay? And make sure that they will come back to you. So ask yourself, will they come back to me if things get worse if I do this? All right. So, and then we will talk about appropriate responses to inappropriate behavior like sexting and porn and stuff like that. There is definitely consequences, and you need to respond appropriately. I'm just referring to overreaction here. All right. So, if you have any further questions, you're welcome to contact me, and please reach out to my via phone or messages, or on my website www.letsexplain.org. And I hope to see you at my next session in the Let's Explain series A to Z. Thanks so much.